Well, on to this story now. The trial of 5 accused in the killing of Collins Chabane Mayor Moses Maluleke has been rolled over to tomorrow at the High Court in Polokwane. The trial has been scheduled for 2 weeks. Maluleke was gunned down at his home in Xikundu village in July last year. His then 17-year-old son was shot and injured. 5 men have been charged with the murder, attempted murder, robbery and possession of unlawful firearms and ammunition. Our reporter Pimani Baloyi is on the story. Pimani, a good morning to you. This is a trial that has been going for quite a while now. Where are we right now with what has come out of these proceedings?
Good morning, Naledi, and good morning to our viewers. Indeed, this is the second time that this trial is resuming here at the High Court in Polokwane, where during the first 2 weeks we saw witnesses that include one who was an accused in the matter, Mr. Murawozi, taking the stand, where he basically implicated all the 5 accused, himself included, and 2 additional unidentified people on the commissioning, the planning and commissioning of that murder. And we also saw the son that you mentioned, who was shot and injured that fateful night, taking the stand, talking about what he saw that evening. But we also saw a neighbor to the household taking to the stand, talking about what he had, how many gunshots were had. So here the state has been giving its case, and there are cases that the 5 accused were there. 2 of the accused, one of them fired the fatal gunshot that killed the mayor, and one of them shot and injured the son. And the others were in on it, even though some of them, the state says, did not have firearms on them. They were part of a conspiracy. They had a joint agenda to use the firearms that the 3 people that were there had them. So they are facing charges: one of murder, one of attempted murder, one of of robbery, another of possession of unlawful firearms. So today the court briefly met, and the presiding judge, the acting judge president of this High Court here in Limpopo, was not available, and she'll be here tomorrow, where we expect the case to proceed. The state is continuing to call its witnesses. We know that some of the issues that we expect the state to collaborate on is evidenced by Mr. Murawozi, that there are phone calls between all the accused discussing the commission of that said crime. So we expect an expert to come to the stand talking about whether the accused could be linked through phone calls. And also Mr. Murawozi stated that all of them drove to Xikundu village about 2 hours prior to Mr. Maluleke's shooting and killing. So we'd also expect an expert to find out whether the cell phones of the accused have been linked to that proximity on that day. But another thing, Naledi, that came out of court is that you might recall 4 of the accused, according to the state's case, probably didn't have any link or relationship to the mayor. The only person who had a link to the mayor is one of the accused, Mr. Chabane Baloyi, where we saw his ex-girlfriend coming to the stand saying he had spoken to her about knowing that the mayor had money on him and that he had a personal relationship with the said mayor. So right now we expect further evidence on how the accused are linked to each other and how they are linked to that specific crime, Naledi. But to speak more about today's postponement, I'm joined by the NPA Limpopo spokesperson, Ms. Mashudu Marabijange. Mashudu, thank you so much for speaking to us. It was a brief appearance today. Judge Simia was not available, but the state has always maintained it's ready to proceed with its case. What can we expect tomorrow when this trial resumes?
Yeah, it's true. Tomorrow the state is going to call the data analyst who will be talking about the mapping cell phones of all the accused. And then we'll also proceed by calling the investigating officers for the whole week.
Okay, so we'll see the investigation officer, and the NPL has always maintained its confidence. Let's talk about your confidence to successfully convict the accused, people that not guilty, all of them. Let's speak to your confidence.
Yes, it's true that we are confident with this matter. We've already called the first witness who has implicated himself and other accused on that day of the incident. that's one of the aspects that we are ready to proceed with the matter, and this is a good case.
Thank you so much, Mashudu. That is Mashudu Malavijange, who speaks for the NPA here in Limpopo, Naledi, telling us that they are very confident. But Naledi, I must also add that since this trial started, we've seen Mr. Maluleke's widow, his wife, coming to court every day, flanked by the entire family, his younger brother, their children also coming to court. But today, it looks like there was an agreement between the parties that it will just be rolled over to tomorrow. We did not see a single family member. The only people that we saw, Naledi, in court were the accused who came in court wearing their civilian clothing, and they looked some of them looked like they had lost weight since the last time we saw them, but they looked to be in good health, Naledi. So tomorrow we expect that trial to resume. The state, you've heard Mashudi saying they'll be calling a data analyst who will be analyzing that cell phone mapping as well as calls between the accused, Naledi.
Just briefly and quickly before I let you go, Pimani, you know, the shooting of and the killing of a mayor, certainly a big issue. Are you seeing, I mean, I'm hearing some saying there's that activity outside of the courtroom linked to this, and is there still a lot of public interest in this matter?
Naledi, today it's quite difficult for us to judge public interest in the matter, because if the family hasn't come, it means even community members from Malamulele could have been told not to come. But what we've seen the last time, Naledi, is that there were people who were brought to Polokwane from Malamulele by buses who would be wearing ANC t-shirts, would be chanting outside court. But the activity that you hear right now, Naledi, is not linked to that specific case. So tomorrow we will see whether the family will be coming in with residents from Malamulele who've always said these accused should be convicted because they have robbed them of their beloved mayor, Naledi.
Some damning evidence certainly that has come up in those court proceedings. That there is our reporter speaking to us from Polokwane, Pimani Baloyi. Let's take a short break. You're still watching The Agenda.